Friends, let me ask you this. How many times throughout your life do you think that you've thought or said a variation of the phrase, "that's not fair"? You know, I think about my wife and I right now. Our 5-year-old daughter, she probably tells us "that's not fair" at least 10 times a day. Like, we'll be like, "Abigail, it's time for dinner. You need to go wash your hands." And she'll say, "But I'm not done playing with my toys. Mommy, Daddy, that's not fair." Guess who's going to be taking cotillion classes? Last night at dinner, I actually asked her, I said, "Abigail, would you like to take cotillion sometime?" She said, "What's that?" I said, it's a class where you learn good manners." She said, "Oh, no." And I said, "Well, you also get to dance." And she's like, "Oh, that's kind of nice." And then my wife, Elaine, she said, "Yeah, you have to dance with a boy." And she goes, "Oh, no, we're not doing that." You see, friends, from a very early age, we are socialized to understand or view the world through the lens of fairness, right? From the moment we start to realize the world, for example, if you get a lollipop, then I should get a lollipop, or if you get to play with that toy, then I should get to play with that toy. And friends, as we grow older, we continue to view our lives through the lens of fairness. But here's the thing. Even though we tend to view it through the lens of fairness, things sometimes aren't fair. And as long as things are fair, we're fine, right? We're good. You get what you deserve, I get what I deserve, and everybody goes home happy. But the moment the balance starts to shift, all of a sudden it's like the wheels fall off the fairness wagon. For example, let's say you're working at a company and you've been working there for a long time, and you're a hard worker, you do really good work, and a promotion comes up, but the guy who gets it has been there at the company way less than you have, and on top of that, he's a notorious slacker, and he doesn't do good work, and you're saying, whoa, hold on a second, that's not fair. Or let's say you and your spouse, both of you work, and you pick up your kids at the end of the day, and you bring them home, and you help them with their homework, you play with them, you cook their dinner, and then your spouse comes home and doesn't help you with any of the parenting. Instead, they go in the other room and they chill and they relax and unwind. And this isn't a one-off. This happens almost every single day. And here you are trying to juggling all the parent responsibilities, and you're saying, whoa, hold on a second. That's not fair. Well, let's say you have an aging parent that needs some extra help. And so you and your siblings, you decide that you're going to work together to do whatever you can for your mom or your dad. But then, all of a sudden, your siblings get busy. And they got some other things that they got to do. And before you know it, you're the only one helping to take care of your aging parent. And you're trying to be faithful to your mom, you're trying to be faithful to your dad, but meanwhile, your siblings, they're running around on vacations and trips and doing all these things, and you're just thinking, whoa, that's not just fair to me. It's not fair to my mom. It's not fair to my dad. You see, as long as things are fair, right, we're mostly good. We're good. Everything is fine. But the moment that things become unfair, you know oftentimes what we do? We begin to keep score in our heads. I work more than you work. I parent more than you parent. I help more than you help. You see, when things become unfair, all of a sudden our sinful tendency is to keep score. Why? Because you and I, well, we kind of view the world through the lens of fairness. Now, here's why I bring this up. We're in the middle of a message series called Grace Changes Everything, and there's an aspect of grace that you and I need to tackle today, and the aspect is this, that by definition, grace is not fair. Grace is not fair. Now, as followers of Jesus, you and I, we understand this, right? That grace is a gift that we do not deserve, but here's the problem. Even though we understand this in theory, when it comes to actually practicing this, in other words, as it plays out in our relationships with others, many of us, we're uncomfortable with the reality that grace is not fair. And the reason why we're uncomfortable is because we are constantly comparing ourselves to other people in terms of fairness. In other words, we love to determine whether or not we think somebody is deserving of the very same thing that we receive. I work, so I should get this. What about that person? They didn't work as much, so they're not as deserving. I don't think they deserve the same thing that I do. You see, this morning, we're going to look at this relationship between fairness and grace, and what we're going to discover is that whenever grace is viewed through the lens of fairness, it stops becoming grace. In other words, when you start keeping score in your head, all of a sudden, your determination to figure out whether or not you're going to show somebody grace Comes down to whether or not you think somebody is worthy of that grace.